and now you're uploading.
Oh yeah.
And as per usual, Twitch comes up super quick, beautiful, ready to go.
Check that YouTube
Like
shit
no
though.
problem, without fail. And
Are you saying something, Eric? Are you wanting to say something?
I
Because
mean,
it sounds like you're trying to say something.
I am very straightforwardly just stating that even at the minimum
too many words,
level of streaming, Twitch blows YouTube out of the water for streaming experiences.
You use too many words.
There's
You
a funny thing.
said that last few words.
It's really funny when Twitch has its rules for being allowed to multi-stream, and it's like you just must make sure that Twitch viewers don't have a worse viewing experience than viewers on other platforms. And I was just
Oh my god!
I think you've already done that for us.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe they're just saying don't give YouTube viewers like giveaways, but not Twitch or something like that.
Oh
basically.
my god!
Like no unequal treatment.
Oh, so like the whole like we may have disagreements about how we go about gaining money, but don't let that affect your audience.
Yeah, I gotta grab a napkin to clean this cut.
Okay, we are live on YouTube. It just has not updated in the YouTube studio yet.
Okay, so what you're saying is we rest our case.
We rest our case. Well, while we're getting started here, how's your week been, Nat?
Pretty good. I was supposed to start studying today, so after this I will be studying. But it's been pretty good. I went to buy an old person bed on Saturday.
What do you mean by an old person bed?
So you know those beds that like adjust to like get your upper back up a little bit and then like brings your legs above your chest.
Yeah, a reading bed.
Yeah.
We're not getting a reading bed, dude. This is not for reading.
Old person bed.
It's an
The
old
ones you
person
see in
bed.
therapist offices?
Not those either. Stop it. This is a for serious bed. No, the goal is to we got this bed with the intention to make sure that our sleeping habits get better, because right now they're not great.
Do you have a TV?
No TV in the room.
That's a big one right there. You're already winning.
We haven't had a TV in our room for like almost a year. Like,
you know what'll ruin that?
What's that?
When you discover that there is a mount for your iPad that you can put by your bedside table.
No, I already know about it. I already know about it. And
yeah, don't buy it.
It's coming. No, it's not. It's not. No, I've considered how to set up my books so that I can read them without without using my hands. Oh god. But eventually the bed will come, and then I will give you guys like an image of me sleeping in the 0G position or something. But
it's a great position.
I'm stoked to not have shoulder and neck pain, because right now it really is hard to turn right.
Oh. Did you like tweak it? Like, was there an inciting incident?
No, I literally laid down and went to bed, woke up, and I could not turn right. Like even now it's still kind of like stiff. I couldn't get past here yesterday.
I can
get here now, but it's still like it's still like I feel a pull all the way in here. It's like I pulled something and injured it, but like I didn't pull anything. I just went to sleep.
Dude, that's the worst too. That's been like my whole week. I think last episode I talked about all the judo tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
My pinky and finger on one hand is still like double the size of my other hand. Right?
Why?
So like this one right here is like super swollen. I like can't push it back without it like making multiple clicking sounds. It's swollen. I've been icing it every day. I can't close it anymore. So like that's
Did
as
you
far as
go
it
to
goes.
a doctor?
So I'm gonna go get X-rays this week.
Okay. I'm like, go to a fucking doctor.
Well,
Don't be like me.
I don't think it's broken, but it's definitely
There's
definitely
something
hurts.
going on there.
And then of course my left knee is getting better every day, but it is still very tight.
Mhm.
So it's not as tender anymore.
Oh,
But
good.
it's going to take a while before I can stretch out the MCL side of it again and kind of like open it up a little bit more. So
Be careful.
yeah, that's been my week too, man. Just sore old men uniting together.
Man. Guys, can I tell you the workout that I did on Saturday? That like just ate me alive. So my trainer, incredible. Tommy Middleton, incredible. Look him up. He's fantastic. Kicked the shit out of me like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, maybe it'll feel better the next time because I'm terrified of this workout now. It's a full leg workout. There's no other movements, right? So you do 3 sets of 15 at like 70%. So like that for me, that's 185. So I do 3 sets of 15 at 185. And then I do single leg deadlift with a kettlebell, about 35 pounds for each leg. And then I do reverse lunges off of a 25-pound plate. And I do 15 each side. So that's supposed to be 30 total. And then what did I miss? No. Then I do the horizontal leg press at 415, 4 something for 15, 3 sets of 15. And then Copenhagen's to go ahead and make sure my knees don't blow out on me.
Yep. Gotta get them all in.
This has been the worst cycle of workouts I've ever been on in my entire life. I'm so sore, guys. It's so bad.
No pain, no gain.
I'm laughing because it's actually kind of terrifying how much like pain I'm in already, like the day after. It's better this time, but before, holy shit. Am I clipping, by the way, guys?
No, I'm just distracted by how Eric murdered your name.
Oh yeah,
that was wait a second.
Me.
I didn't
that
do
was
it.
Me.
What?
That was Nat. Nat did that.
Nah, I did this.
Anthony immediately like terrible name. Eric's fault.
It's Natameus.
How could he?
That's true. That's true.
Well, I thought you said Natame
AEUS.
earlier, like anime, Natame. I didn't hear the ending.
Wait, like just Natame? Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said Natame. So then
like
I thought
that?
Eric was trying to play a goof on you.
I think just the
And
Or is
combine
it-
them.
or is
right,
it
like
just the
true Japanese
Natame?
fashion.
Natame.
Yeah.
You need the umlau though, because everyone's just gonna see Natime. Natime?
What?
Not
Oh
time?
God. No, that's not it.
The,
What is the button?
you
I
have to do it in
I have a 65%.
hiragana or katakana.
I have
you
a
know?
65%, so like it's all jacked up.
Oh, geez.
Which one is it? Fudge! I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'll figure it out later.
Plus 136.
Alt 136.
I don't know what key code that is, to be fair.
Dude, why would you tell me that? What if it's like 136? Nope, nothing. Okay, I'll figure it out later, guys.
So, Anthony, how's your week been?
I don't remember.
What?
Bro, what do you mean you don't remember?
It's been a blur, man. Like what I've been working. It's because of what I'm working on. So I'm like a very visual person, and like the less visual my work, the more my brain just like shuts off.
Just like everything blurs together.
Yes. So like what I'm working on right now is just like an insane amount of like I need a whiteboard. I need to start using a whiteboard. It'd probably help. There's literally a whiteboard right here.
You really should.
So
if
maybe
you're
that would help
visual.
or something. But the thing is that there's too much stuff for just a whiteboard. So I have to
You have to,
have to
like,
do
have a
something
white wall.
different. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like all text. It's like the Matrix where you're only looking at the numbers,
Have you considered Figma?
no visual stuff. I don't know what that
Figma.
is.
What is Fig?
Figma is like a graphic design app that's really popular again with UX and graphic design creators. My uncle wants me to sign up for Figma so that he can get a educator's discount for it for his
Oh,
work.
cool.
But it's basically what I think it's what Google put all their money into instead of keeping, what was it? It was some kind of team-based whiteboard that you could add sticky notes to. Whatever. Either way, this is like their brainchild that they're like putting money into for just whiteboarding stuff.
Okay,
that's cool.
okay. I'm gonna be real though. Everything on this page, I looked up Figma.
Jamboard. That's
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Looks good. Wonderful. Everything. And then I mouse over the header buttons or the buttons, and their hover pointer is this Mickey Mouse fucking glove, and it looks ridiculous. from a design company.
Look, man, I didn't say that I was using it. I mean, I think Obsidian's probably a better bet for Anthony just for the canvas functionality.
Yeah, but I think the problem with whiteboarding, and Anthony may think about it differently than I do, is that oftentimes it's to visualize my current thought process. It is not something that I need to save long term. Oftentimes, like sometimes that's helpful. Like sometimes there are design docs and like visual representations that I flesh out that will help in the future. But sometimes I just like need to pull out scratch paper so I can organize my thoughts visually, which can help me work through problems. And oftentimes a scratch piece of paper or something that isn't big enough to contain all of those thoughts at once is the problem. So like a whiteboard helps, or like a giant chalkboard helps me in some cases like that, because I can literally put everything I'm trying to think about in that moment up onto the board at once in one visual representation, rather than some digital apps where you have to move stuff around. You can't see everything at once. It's usually clunky or difficult to have everything kind of visually represented easily in a concise form when all I'm doing is like mind dumping into visual form.
So what you're saying is that your rebuttal to utilizing digital is that it can sometimes get in the way of the actual flow of putting your thoughts onto a medium.
100%. I think,
Got you.
Especially for, and here's a great corollary to that: Photoshop and an artist, right? There are plenty of people who work on art and do art and have trouble converting and moving over to a digital platform because of how visceral and easy it often is
to just do it on your
to just do it
Yeah.
on a canvas or a piece of paper, because you're working with all the things that you have right there in front of you.
I don't think
And
that's a
that
fair
goes
comparison,
away.
though.
What was that?
I don't think that's a fair comparison, though.
Not comparing it to the direct problem that I'm doing,
Okay,
just as a corollary to how they talk a lot in the art space about how quickly one can go from an idea to being able to bring to life that idea. And the more barriers or hoops you have to jump through to get into the flow state of getting that represented,
the less content you can even develop.
Oftentimes pushes people out of that space. Like a lot of people don't like doing digital art on Photoshop or on a computer because they can't just pull it out and start drawing. That's one of the things that I think the iPad is probably the best thing for design ever built, because regardless of what you
Ease
think
of
about
use, man.
Apple,
It goes.
regardless of what you think about like their processes, there is absolutely no argument that the iPad is the best device to be able to go, I want to draw something right now, or I want to create
I need
art
to
right
write down.
now.
I need to do a note. I need to do something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I click, it opens
it's-
automatically because it has your face.
And
And
it's ready to
then
go.
I pull the pin off of it.
And I go.
Procreate can be on I can make Procreate the size of half the screen as a button, and I can click half the screen and Procreate is ready to go. Open, barely any load time on the iPad. It's super
Lightweight, super
streamlined.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm creating art right then and there with a thing that feels super, super nice if you have like the paper finish and the nice pen.
I do think the barrier is still there in terms of like selecting brushes, making sure that your loadouts are all good. But I will say that it's a lot faster.
Yeah,
than
and Procreate's
anything else
getting
that you have.
closer and closer and closer to like bridging that gap so that pressing the right buttons in Procreate is so minimal and so minimalistic and so easy to do that it is sometimes easier than going over to my left drawer over there,
Pulling out
finding the right
Rebo
pencils or
whatever.
pens
Yeah.
that I want from that drawer, organizing them, pulling them out, and being ready to go. Procreate is bridging that gap better than any other software in the market, in my opinion, for sure.
Anthony, what are you gonna do with these ideas, dude? Where are you going? What are you gonna do with this?
Well, the funny thing is, 6 years ago, I used Jamboards in real life at an old company that had way too much money to spend on things. So there was like a giant digital whiteboard, and you could like add multiple whiteboard pages. So it was kind of neat, but also janky at the time.
Yep. Still was.
but-
Sorry, past tense.
Yeah, but like, no, for me, what I need is to create a map of what I'm working on, because it's like the thing is so big that I need a map to traverse when I'm like far down the road and something comes up from before and you have to like go back and look at it. But I've spent like, I don't know why, but I don't use a whiteboard for my thoughts. Like I got in trouble when I was in school for not like writing. Well, no, for like in like math, like not showing my work. They'd be like, you cheated. I'm like, no, I didn't. They're like, then how did you do this? I'm like, what do you mean? How did I do it? Like, how did you figure it out? I'm like, you do the math. What do you mean?
Math
Like,
is
well, you didn't
math.
show me you do it. I'm like, I did it in my head. And they're like, bullshit, you cheated. And I'm like, I'm sorry. What? This,
I'm sorry,
It-
Anthony. The education
it's like-
system was not built for you and I.
no, it's like, I mean, I wonder if it was like, maybe the teacher was one of those people that can't
No.
have an inner monologue and
No,
can only have like
Anthony.
an outer monologue or
Anthony, I'm
something.
telling you right now, that is how we are taught to teach. From
Yeah.
top down, you were taught. That's great that they can find the answer, but if they can't vocalize, if they can't speak to the answer and explain how they got to it, then it's not a full demonstration of learning.
That's so weird.
By the way, just because Anthony brings that up, and I think it'd be an interesting topic, because I think I know Anthony, because I think we've talked about it previously. But Nat, how does your inner monologue work? Like when you visualize your thoughts or think about your thoughts or think about things, do you talk to yourself in your head? Do you have an inner voice?
I have
Do
an inner
you have an
voice.
inner, some people see pictures or visually think about things in their head. Like where on the spectrum of that are you?
So when I'm not being creative, it's a voice. And oftentimes I don't really speak to it. I think like we kind of speak in tandem, strangely enough. And sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be bad. Especially with some of the self-talk that I sometimes do. So separating like the inner monologue from my actual like mental narrative of who I am is something that I need to go ahead and work on. But I will say that my inner monologue is a conversation when I'm being analytical, and when I'm being creative is more image-based. Like it won't give me it won't give me words all the time, but I can play a scene in my head based on like an idea that I have. Like if I'm thinking of, I don't know, any form of creative activity, it's mostly fantasy driven. So like if I'm daydreaming about, I don't know, Miyazaki films, but like with a darker cut, and I don't know, samurais in space, whatever. I can put myself in that situation and see it almost as if it was a movie in that medium. It's pretty cool, but at the same time, like it comes in spurts. Like it'll go like, "Oh, that's cool," and I'm like, "Grab it." But yeah, music kind of operates the same way. I'll get like flashes. I feel like every musician gets this, where like they'll get a tune that'll like run through their head, and it'll be there for like 5 seconds, and if you don't grab it, it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
And I've gotten really bad at being able to like grab those things and put it to like an idea, or like grab a guitar and go. But like, it's something I want to do eventually.
Yeah. One of my teachers when I was at music school, he gave me the idea of always, and he said phones kind of solve this now, but he still, just because it's easier, he always carries a handheld recorder with him and keeps it in his pocket on his keychain.
Smart.
Whenever he's out and about or anything like that, and he thinks or has that moment where a melody or a rhythm or something comes to him, he'll just hold the record button, do the rhythm or melody into the recorder, and then be like, yeah. And then I'm like, something like this. And then he'll go in and he'll just stop it. And what he'll do is once a week or something like that, he will have forgotten everything that's on there. He'll go and take everything that he had on there. He'll put it into his favorite DAW, and then he'll go through and flesh out some of the ideas. And he blocks off a 4-hour block every weekend where he'll just go through all of his ideas that he randomly had during the week.
That's a good idea. I should probably do that.
And
I think I would get more self-conscious about like being at my desk and going but
yeah,
I'll just go. I'll find my little like doodle noise
corner. He would.
I gotta go.
Yeah, he would do it all the time during classes. Like he'd think of stuff, and he was just super nonchalant. Because it was a one-button press, he said for him, it was so important that it be so minimal, no barrier to entry. He's like, take it out. I'm holding the button and it's recording.
Done.
And I go.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, I don't have to open an app.
No.
I don't have to do anything. He's like, there is no barrier to entry. I can be walking down the street, and as long as my keys are with me, which I always keep in my pocket anyways,
I can do this.
I'm grabbing them and I'm recording. Right.
Guys, that was great. What are we drinking?
Okay, so we are continuing our journey down the rabbit hole that is the Flaviar Advent Calendar, which has been an interesting ride so far. I think we're about halfway done with the Flaviar Calendar.
Yep.
I think officially this episode will put us past the halfway point. We'll be covering 11, 12, and 13. And we have some interesting ones today. We have...
Yes, we do.
Starting off, we have an Irish whiskey.
Silky.
Which, always one of my favorites. I love Irish whiskeys. That is the Silky, the legendary dark Silky Irish whiskey. Now, then we will move on to a rye, but the caveat of this one being that it is a cherrywood smoked rye. And then we will finish with a barley single malt Scotch whiskey. So 3 very different whiskeys.
Two
One
ryes.
should bring us
Okay.
those shortbread baking cookie notes. One should get us that harsh rye sourness, sour bread type of deal. And then finishing up, we should get smoky, peaty barley goodness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first off, is silky. Is it silky or silky?
Silky.
Silky.
So I will have to look it up. I have been saying silky, but because this is
Irish.
an Irish whiskey.
Mercedes. Have y'all seen that stupid bit? I just saw it for the first time.
No.
Where there's like this girl ASMRing and like tapping on like a luxury truck or something. And
I
she
have
goes,
seen that. I hate it.
Mercedes. And then some dude just goes and like hammers it or like scratches it up with a crowbar and goes, Mercedes. like Jeep.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
So weird.
I hated that commercial when I first saw it, and I was like, "This is."
It was a commercial. Oh my
I
god!
think it was a commercial.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Okay, this is Pete.
So I do get like a funk here, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
There's like a funkiness that is different.
13 has what I was looking for the other day.
Bro,
The other
you
day,
shouldn't
I-
have opened 13. You gotta open it one at a time. God dang.
What?
Oh wow, that 13 is very interesting.
That's not what they do.
Man,
At
what do you gotta
the,
do? God dang.
that's not what they do at the tastings. That's not what they do
Swirl
at the
it.
tastings.
Throw it away.
True.
So let's look up this.
What I was looking for the other day was like something white doggy, very mashy, just like
Oh, okay.
something that's
so you're
on the
saying that-
nose.
So you're spoiling it. I see. Okay. Cool. No, like it's fine. Everybody wants their olfactory experience, but
Oh
you
my
guys go.
gosh.
You guys go ahead. You guys just go ahead and
Oh my
sniff stuff.
gosh.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm cool. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine.
So the peat on this.
So this is actually, funnily enough, this is
He's breaking.
peated. This is a peated Irish whiskey. It seems like.
Yeah. This
Very
is
peaty.
good. I mean,
And
like,
it's-
so I've liked peat. Like, I like the smell of peat, but honestly, the taste of it is often like, if it's not, man, how do I word this without sounding like an absolute soft boy? Whatever. I don't want it to hurt. I don't want to taste the peat and have it hurt. Like, I feel like there's a way to have peat and not have the taste of it be like a punch or offensive. I feel like it should be smooth. The way I smell it, I'm like, okay, you could get there, right?
This nice
had it before.
smoky. It almost tastes like you took a
You've already tasted it.
like a cookie. I haven't tasted it.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay.
The nose gives me this hint of a kind of this shortbread cookie
Mm-hmm.
that's not too sweet. It's more buttery, smoked in peat. Like essentially, you took a smoking glass, you put it over a cookie,
Yeah.
and then you smelled that cookie.
I would eat this cookie. I feel like we should eat this cookie.
Yeah.
Anthony, we got to eat the cookie.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't find
Yeah.
my booklet.
The-
Found it though.
Excellent.
Well, cheers to episode 26. We are past our quarter century mark now.
Every time.
Mm.
26
Wow.
is half a deck of cards there.
So it is.
That's why it's special.
And okay.
Wow.
I want to read out their tasting notes
Yeah,
real quick
Yeah.
because this is very interesting. So
Wow.
they say that we should be getting apple, tobacco,
Mm-hmm.
peat,
Mm-hmm.
oak,
Mm-hmm.
spicy,
Spicy with a
caramel, smoky, dark chocolate, and brine. And this booklet right here, the reason I wanted to read it out, this is the one that has been most accurate to my experience, full stop, in the entire booklet. I think that I get almost every single one of these clearly
I don't get.
in this whiskey.
Maybe I just don't know what brine tastes like.
Fishy.
Salt water.
Yeah.
Oh,
Salty,
yeah.
fishy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't get the. Well, no. Hold on. Let me breathe. No, it's definitely there. Okay. Yeah. I'm very impressed with this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it straight up. This is probably the best Irish whiskey I've ever had.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I think it's because of the smoothness.
It's very interesting. This is a very interesting Irish whiskey.
Very much so.
The smoking it with peat has really evolved the flavor of what is usually very one note for a lot of the especially lower price point Irish whiskeys, where it's kind of got this funkiness and this sweet shortbread flavor. This evolves into this very heavy apple forward punch that is a little bit spicy tobacco notes right up front. I get a guy sitting on an apple orchard farmhouse smoking a cigarette
Cigar. Yeah,
out on
or
the
a-
front
yeah,
porch,
man. Yeah.
right? And then it has this middle section where I get these smooth caramel, woody, dark chocolate notes. And then it finishes with this nice, tasty, woody, spicy cinnamon note at the end that is very dynamic. This is a very dynamic whiskey.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, so this did take silver at the 2021 World Whiskeys Awards.
Really?
It also has a gold at the World Spirits Competition.
So this is
No, this is
already
done
higher.
by, I am going to butcher this name.
You want to spell it so I can say it for you?
Sliabhliag.
Nope. You're gonna have to type it. No, don't you do
Like,
it?
I am just going to butcher this. If we ever
No,
have
don't do
somebody
it.
from Ireland watch,
I don't want this to be messed up because this is good. So I need you to just type this into the live
Yep.
chat. Let me know what it
I
is
got
so I
you.
can try.
I got you. I sent it here. Funnily enough, this is really cool. So I just noticed that typing into the live chat in Riverside automatically sends that to both YouTube and Twitch. So our YouTube and Twitch audience also get the site for the distillery, which is really cool.
Sliab.
Sliabhliag.
Yeah, I was playing with
Liag.
that last time. And I,
Sliab.
I couldn't tell if it was working or not for me.
Huh.
Here.
It looks like it does not work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called Sleeve League.
Sleeve League.
Sleeve League.
Sleeve League. So this is done by the Sleeve League Distillery, and they are all about the distilling heritage of Donegal. And this is a very dynamic and cool whiskey.
This is cool.
Start off with. Very apple forward, but very nice. Okay.
Was
Okay.
not envisioning the smoke to be over an apple.
Yeah, a
Did not see
peated
that coming.
Irish whiskey.
Did
Very,
not see that coming.
very cool.
Okay.
I am excited to see how that evolves as we try some of these other whiskeys.
I took too much from
You know what is really cool?
What's
that
that?
these two, the 11 and 12 do have this nice theme of being smoked whiskeys that generally aren't smoked. So this is a cherrywood smoked rye.
Mm.
Ooh, and I get like chocolate on the nose, like heavy chocolate and raisins, almost
I'm
prune.
getting raisin, dude. I'm getting confectionery.
Yeah, it has like a
raisin.
confectionery. You know the raisins with the girl in the front that have like the circle around her.
Like something Ann or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
What are
saying
those?
vanilla off the top. Do you get that?
the raisins are really getting me.
I can't get that vanilla. I'm guessing it's like
Smells more like
Sun-made
apricot to me.
raisins.
sun-made. There he goes. What is
Oh,
that, Anthony?
It
Coffee?
smells more like apricot to me.
I could see apricots
I can
too.
see
It's got
apricot.
this dried fruit, like
Mhm.
subtle dark fruit. However, you know what this smells like to
There's
me?
wood under
More
there.
so than anything, like the combination together, really, I reminisce of Raisin Bran cereal.
Oh yeah, like a mealy
Yeah.
esque, like
Yep.
raisin flavor.
Yep.
Okay.
Because it has some of those creamy, milky notes. It has some of the, like, I used to have Raisin Bran all the time when I was a kid, and this just hits like Raisin Bran does. So I'm gonna
Is that woodsy smell allspice?
You know, I couldn't stand Raisin Bran because of the raisins would get stuck in my teeth while I was chewing.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. This is a very sweet whiskey.
Yo, that aftertaste. Wow.
The aftertaste has a nice burn to it.
No. Wait for the burn to go.
Okay.
Knee cough.
Wait, is Nikov in chat?
Knee coughs in my chat. What's up, man? He's like, y'all some cultivated gentlemen. All
Like a
caps.
sad.
We're
Pinky's
trying.
out. Pinky's out for the knee
never mind.
cough.
So that aftertaste is super raisin. Like,
Yeah, I do. The raisin bit goes all the way through the flavor. It pulls through the entire flavor profile here.
I guess
for
the
sure.
raisin is the apricot because they don't say raisin, right?
Oh, they say apricot. I
They do
nailed
say
it.
apricot.
You do
Like
say it.
Anthony's
You did
on the
say
nose. I
apricot.
think
Dude,
this is
Anthony.
more on the apricot
Guys.
note.
Guys, my nose level is
Dude,
increasing.
you've
It's like
elevated
level
yourself,
5
sir.
now out of 99.
Good for you, man. I'm proud of you. It's all about progress, guys. Move that.
Oh,
needle.
yeah. But yeah, I get a little bit of the spice. I get some of the cherries. I do get
Mhm.
this allspice on the mouth for sure.
Mhm.
You know, ironically enough, I think walnuts fall from my tree.
Walnuts.
Are walnuts in this?
Says
They
are.
do. They say that there is some walnut. It does have a nuttiness to it, but I get it in the. You know how your mouth after some whiskeys kind of salivates and
Yeah.
leaves behind
Very much like this.
kind of a taste. Your
Mhm.
saliva kind of gets a taste to it.
Yeah.
That salivation has a nutty flavor to me after drinking this whiskey,
Yep. Yeah.
which I
can
can
get that.
imagine that's where they get the walnut.
Is it
flavor
walnut?
from.
I smell
Yeah,
it.
I
I mean,
get
it
that.
smells a little nutty to me too.
I can see that. I think for me,
Smell the nut, Anthony.
I can smell that nut.
cultivated gentleman right here.
Ooh.
I think for me, the problem is that the nose still just screams Raisin Bran. So I'm getting this oatmeal, kind of mealish, creamy vanilla mixed with raisin note that just like it's overpowering my brain and just saying, you remember Raisin Bran as a kid? Because that's what this shit is.
Now that I've like sampled it a few times, I'm definitely getting the vanilla now. Like it was
Yeah.
buried under the raisin, and now I'm like, oh, of course it's there. Now I get it. Like it's like you put too much cereal into your milk, and now it's super saturated with your cereal. Now it's super powerful.
100%. I think this whiskey. Oh, man, I couldn't make the joke that I was gonna make. I was gonna say, if you're still at the age where you like cereal, this is it right here.
Bro, you can
Cereal
like
in a
cereal
bottle.
for your entire life. Shut up.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I eat cereal last night for dinner and this morning for breakfast. Like, get out of here.
Wait. You should never have it 2 times in a row, my guy.
I had to, man. I had like a late lunch at like 3:30.
One of the craziest things I was
I barely got
watching
hungry.
reviews for Magic Spoon recently.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if
Spoon
y'all
is
tried
great
Magic
and
Spoon.
terrible.
I have.
Great and
I
terrible.
love Magic Spoon. You have a phenomenal product. even better product if you sponsor us. But you have a phenomenal product. But your boxes are one bowl. Let me just
Literally.
clear that up for you. Your
Literally.
boxes equal one bowl. Your boxes are like $11 or $12. And guess what? That bowl, peak cereal. Peak.
real good. Real good.
Peak. 10
know
out
what-
of
you know
10
what that-
cereal.
You know what their serving size reminds me of? Going to the cafeteria at school and getting food
Getting
as
those
a
little
growing
cartons.
dude.
Getting those little
No,
cartons
yeah.
of cereal where like you
Yeah.
take off the lid and they're like, oh yeah, you put your milk
Mhm.
that you get from the line in it. And I'm like, you mean like you want me to overflow the milk and drink it like a soup? Because this is a soup now.
It's ridiculous.
Mostly liquid, no cereal.
But yeah, they say
ridiculous.
however many serving sizes are in one box of Magic Spoon. Nah.
So
They
it's like
say
5 or
there's
6?
about 5 servings
No.
in a box.
There's
I
like
can
2
tell you
two
right
bowls
now,
max.
Magic Spoon. No. It is one bowl. I take the,
I've had it, though.
when
You
I
have
get
to.
Magic Spoon, I take the box, I open it, and I pour the bag into a bowl. Magic Spoon. I am not complaining about price point. I am not complaining about taste. I am complaining purely about give me a bigger box size, please. Like, please.
You'll pay for
I don't
it. You'll pay for it.
I don't care if it makes me look
the family
like
size
I'm
one.
an overweight American. Like, give me the American size, please. I beg of you.
It makes you feel like the owners are European or something. Like this is a good size for how you say to feed your house of 3. You know, mom can have one, dad can have one, Timmy could have one.
Ridiculous.
I can snack on a single box
No.
of Magic Spoon.
I've had Magic Spoon a few times. I had a subscription for a bit and then I canceled it because I was like, I can't keep eating this many carbs.
Oh, it's so good though.
It's so good, and they say that they're protein forward. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, like, let's look at your macros and also take into account everything else. But yeah, what was I saying? I've had it before. It gums up my teeth as well,
does.
so I stay away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of
it also like
yeah.
it messed me up a little bit, so I had to get rid of it. The best thing that came out of my experience with Magic Spoon, though, was the free bowl and the free spoons. Those things are awesome, and I still use those. I've
Gentlemen.
since switched to Kashi. Kashi has like 10 grams per serving cereal. I did the math the other day. My bowl of cereal in the morning is like 37 grams of protein
30 set, dude. That's way too
with
much.
the Kashi protein. No, it's
That's-
not.
Kashi, I don't know how
Matt,
good your
I need
cereal
like 200
is yet.
grams a day.
Dude, I know.
200 grams, yeah.
I need 260.
Yeah, I was about to say
But you're
that's
not
the biggest one of us.
I'm the largest guy on this podcast, and I know what caloric intake looks like.
Well, so why are you surprised? Like 37 grams is nothing.
Because it's not supposed to be coming from a synthesized source like that.
It's just
I mean,
whey
like
protein.
it's whey protein, which is like it's fine. It's more so like you want to eat real food as much as possible, especially if you're taking in that much protein.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
more so when I'm too busy to cook. Because usually I would try to make like sometimes I try to bulk make breakfast burrito stuff.
Oh,
And
God.
then
And it
if
all
I
falls to
can't-
shit.
yeah.
It all falls apart. I get midway through the week and I put that thing in a microwave and it's like, this is not a burrito. This is
So many times I put way too much in my burrito and then I have to heat up another tortilla and make a double.
Oh,
'Cause
dude,
it
that's
won't-
not
it
that's
won't
not a
roll.
problem there, dude. That's that's
It's
not
great.
a problem. Oh man! But what you were saying, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, like the other thing I make is if I actually have the time is I'll make a egg sandwich, which is always good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get
I don't know
better
how
at
much-
cooking breakfast as well because I definitely fell short of my protein goal today, and it was the first day of reporting to my trainer, and he's probably gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what? How are you alive?"
I do
So-
the same breakfast every morning. So
Same.
good. I love
What
it.
is it, Eric?
I
Go ahead and tell
do.
us your breakfast before we try number 13.
So I do a bagel. Then on top of that bagel, I spread a healthy amount of Braunschweiger, which is cured pig liver.
It's
Gross.
liverwurst.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's different than liverwurst because I don't believe liverwurst is cured. I
You know
think
he did that to
Braunschweiger
just
is
dig at you,
cured.
dude. It's cool, Eric. You're
But
okay.
it is the same thing, essentially, as far
Spreadable
as I
meat.
know. Yeah. Spreadable meat.
Uh-huh.
And then you take cream cheese,
Yeah.
dab it on top,
Yeah.
and it is essentially 33% carb, protein, fats, like down the line.
Down the line, man.
Because I
30,
just
30, 30.
even it out, and it is.
That's
My
a
mom
lot
used to
of
make it as a
Schwerst or
comfort
whatever.
food when I was growing up, so I love it. And then it's super easy.
Is
It's
that
super
healthy?
affordable. It's not the worst thing you could eat.
Okay.
People could argue that, like,
Salt
So-
content might be pretty high.
bread content's pretty high. I should probably get a healthier brand of bagels than the ones I use, but
Blasphemy.
So it tastes really good because I've had it many a time thanks to Eric.
Uh-huh.
And whenever he visits, I end up buying it, and so that it's here for him, and I start eating it. And then as he leaves, I keep eating it, and then I always forget that I get gout eventually from eating too much of it,
Oh.
which is apparently a big thing when you eat too much like liver, basically.
yeah.
And then I cut
Good
it
to
out,
know.
and I stop eating it until I forget. And repeat the
Good
To
process.
know. Good to
But
know.
it is so good. I
Eric,
have
how are
been
you avoiding
fortunate.
gout?
I don't know. I've never had the problem. I do know of that problem. It is more or less it's all different for everybody. So everybody have different tolerances.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Well, there's different bodies produce the right things to break
Yeah.
down certain things, and mine doesn't produce the right things to break down certain things well by itself.
it could
have to,
also be a
supplement.
learned response for me too, because I've been eating that meal since I was 4 or 5 years
You've
old.
been trained.
Yeah.
Born by it. Raised
Yeah.
in it.
Raised.
Raised in it. It wasn't until I was a man that I had a taste of a pancake.
Dude,
Anyway,
nearby,
13.
Yes.
Go ahead, Anthony. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
they serve pancakes and chicken.
Oh man,
So not-
so good.
Chicken and pancakes instead of chicken and waffles. Chicken and pancakes. I was like, what?
Chicken and pancakes, man.
So
Yeah.
I have a smell on that note too
Very
that I
sweet.
am getting from this. I am getting this umami, almost meatiness, almost like candied bacon, kind of like a sweeter bacon note.
Eric, your nose is insane.
It's got like
Yeah, I don't smell that.
caramelized bacon type of deal.
I can
like a little bit
barely
of
get that
umami.
caramelized part.
Yeah.
I think it's the smoky. It's the smoked vibe of it that gives you the meat flavor. Because I can get almost like a. Well, let me taste it first. Hold on. Mm-hmm.
I get it
Definitely
on the
smells sweet.
I get it on the taste too. This one follows the nose for me quite a bit. It has this umami. Man, maybe
Meat
it's
grilled
just
kind of vibe.
yeah. It has like this grilled meat type of vibe on it, where it starts off and I get this honey, acidic, bright flavor right up front, and then that settles into this meaty umami flavor in the middle, and then it kind of dies down and it has this little bit of almost pepper that sits in the back middle of your tongue for 20 to 30 seconds after enjoying it.
Is there a fruit in this?
I definitely get like this acidic note that I think they're attributing to pear. It's like this bright acidity, citrusy type of thing that comes right up front really fast, but it dies down real quick for me.
I don't know. I feel like pear is pretty mellow. If it was that, if I was looking for something more acidic, I'd be looking at like a plum.
I mean,
or something.
I get pear. I
I
like
get pear.
I perceive
No,
that as pear
yeah,
quite a lot. It's just a little bit brighter. It's a very ripe, bright pear.
yeah. Maybe I haven't had pears in a while.
It tastes like I remember pear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
When's the last time you had a pear there, Anthony?
The thing is, I've eaten so many pears that it's just like cemented in my memory.
Yeah.
There was a time when people would eat apples and I would be like, no, pears are better. I'm going to eat pears.
I
And
will
ate
say, it's
copious amounts
apples
of
are
pears.
so weird for me too. I would say that generally pears are better than apples unless you have the right apple.
You know what a pear never does to you? It never makes you feel like you're chewing on styrofoam. You never have to
That's
cry
fair. That's
after
fair.
you bite into
Yeah.
one.
That's fair.
It's always the same, or it's really mushy, and then you're like, oops.
Is anybody else getting like a tannin, almost like wine-esque experience on the after? My life, my beautiful life.
Mm.
Behold,
Food.
behold how I will get all of my calories today.
Is that
Because
corn
Nice.
and
I
beans?
did not have enough protein.
Is there corn and beans in there?
There's corn, there is beans, there is
Yummy.
Avocado.
avocado, there is turkey, there is a bare amount of rice so that I can eat my carbs as well.
Delicioso.
I am very
Yeah.
happy.
Looks really nice.
Mhm.
But I get a little bit of tannins maybe on the tail end,
Yeah.
but it tastes less like tannins and more like bitter grapes, like bitter grape skin.
Yeah.
I
Right
might
at the,
see what you mean. It definitely
right
doesn't
at
remind
the
me of
end.
wine, but maybe grape. Wow, we can see his room now.
Ah,
Shut up. You don't get to say that to me.
cinematic lighting.
You don't get to say that to me.
I didn't know you had lights in your rooms.
You're stupid. You're bum. You're big poopy pants. Don't make fun of my room. You don't even know what it looks like.
It's just always so dark.
It is usually dark. Sorry, guys. It's not that I,
I think
like
it's a
it
style.
dark. It's just that like I haven't automated the lights yet because I also have like 2 lights here that like I need to get on the Hue light system,
Yeah.
and then I still have
Matt,
to
if
get rid
you,
of these chairs, a whole other stuff.
If
Yeah.
you come over anytime soon, I could give you like 20 Hue lights.
20 Hue lights, like the bulb.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Oh
I had,
hell yeah, dude!
Because this house has like miniature lights and these other weird lights, and
And you
it's
can't
like,
use any
okay,
of them.
yeah, we got all these old Hue lights. We've used up every one of them that we can. So
Well, I have to probably figure out a time to visit you guys within this year anyway, because I feel like I need to make the time to like see you guys once a year.
Yeah,
Hell
we
yeah.
have to
and
do
we
something.
discovered it's only like $90 to come to Asheville.
It's $90 to come to Asheville.
Yes,
Or y'all
dude,
can come to
back
India.
and forth.
Eric's like, oh, you guys can come to Atlanta.
India. I said
Or
India.
we can come to India.
Oh my god.
So here's the thing. No, because money is a thing, Eric.
Fair.
It is a thing. I would honestly, I would go if I was like, if I had the PTO and the money, I would totally go.
That's fair.
Like it's not even like a question. I'd be like, well, I gotta make my way out there. It is honestly, it is also one of the scariest places that I can think of in terms of my head, like my head canon. But I'd go for you. And I know it's not like a terribly scary place. I know, like
I've heard
It is
it's
if you try to
places-
drive through a
yeah,
city.
I wouldn't drive there yourself from what I've heard. But as far as like safety concerns, at least from all of my family now who's there and who's been there so many times, they're like, nah, people who visit there, foreigners, they're treated like royalty. It's like built into their culture in a lot of ways. Like you're supposed to treat your visitors as if they are God descended in a lot of ways.
I mean, they were literally still ruled by by Britain like in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not long ago. They've barely been free.
That's a blip culture-wise and culture development.
Yeah.
It's like no time at all. But that being said, the internet has accelerated a lot of cultural expectations in terms of like just general growth. Because if you think about it, we've adapted to technology at a rate that is unprecedented to any form of stimulus for humankind. That being said, we are still very slow in comparison. There are things that we do now that are a direct correlation of us processing it badly. Like,
Mhm.
So
anyway,
Matt, walk me through these whiskeys real
Man,
quick.
let me tell you.
Like, how do you feel about this?
how do
Like,
I feel?
We were talking before the podcast
we're
about
talking
how
mad shit.
Flaviar has kind of failed us, right? Like, out of the 21 different or 20 different 20-ish different whiskeys that we've had from Flaviar, we've essentially had 3 winners, right?
True.
We've had 3 whiskeys where we were like, holy crap, there's
That's a
either
5.
mad potential here or this whiskey is it. Like, this changes the game, you know? And we have stuff like the Frey Ranch. We have the Starward, but not the
not the Nova, not the Nova.
yes, the Solera.
The Solera.
Right. And we're looking at these things and we're like, okay, we don't have too much value here yet. And then we get on and we have these
11,
3 whiskeys.
12, and 13, guys.
Right, which just to sum it up for some of our audience, that's the Silky Irish Whiskey, which is a peated, smoked Irish whiskey with peat. Then we have the Sonoma Distilling Company, which has done the Cherrywood Smoked Rye, and the Locklear Distilling Company that has done a barley single malt. Right. So now take me through your ratings. What would you pay for these whiskeys? Give me the breakdown here.
So, like Eric said, we talked a lot of mad shit before we got on this podcast about this box. And then Flaviar decided to serve the top 3 versions of a Irish whiskey, a rye, and a single malt that I've ever had. So,
question before you continue: does this rye beat the Frey Ranch rye for you?
No, absolutely not. It's great, but it's not Frey Ranch. Sir.
Fair.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah, I just wanted to, bridge the gap there.
For sure. So let's start with the Silky. I am in love with that. That's great. Like, I love the overtone of the peat along with the chocolate. I love that it's fruity and like very smooth in comparison to any other Irish whiskey I've had, like across the board. It's classy, man. And it's tasty. It's classy and it's tasty. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's so good. I would pay $70 for that. Actually, you know what? No, I'd pay like $100 for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you rate it?
I'd give that a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give that a 6. You know what? What was the Frey Ranch?
I think you put the Frey Ranch at a 7, if I remember correctly.
I would put this at a 6.5 then. It's like, it is so close. I would put this at a 6.5.
It is so close. Let me find.
While he was finding that, let me go ahead and move on.
You put the Frey Ranch at a greater than 7.
Greater than 7. Okay. So I'll put this at a 6.5. I stick by a 6.5.
Okay.
The Sonoma. Honestly, I was very confused by it off the nose because I was like, where's the vanilla? And then with enough time, I found it. After finding it, I still think that it's a great whiskey. That being said, I was just very confused for a bit. Hold on, let me go ahead and taste it real quick again, just to make sure
Okay.
that I remember. But
The confusion.
it's really good, guys. It's really good too. Yeah, back to back. There's the smokiness. There's that burn from the rye. There's that apricot that we kind of confused as raisins from before. That kind of makes it feel as if you're drinking a bowl of cereal milk down, which is awesome. Like that kind of like mouthfeel. I would give this a 6, and I would pay $80 for this.
Yeah.
Looking at that bottle, I feel like I might be paying more, but it just seems classier. I don't know. And then finally, the Locklear Distilling Barley Single Malt. This is probably the least impressive to me. That's not to say that it's not great tasting. It's just that I feel like the pair is a weak pairing with weak pairing. I feel like the pair is not a very it's not a very prominent contributor to the experience. Yes, I get that that tart taste from like a fruit being included in the process, but I don't feel as if I can point to it and say, oh yeah, that's definitely pear. And I don't want, whenever fruit's included, I don't want to be like, oh, I don't know what that is. That I can't point a finger at it. If it's supposed to be like the top thing that's coming off of the top of this whiskey in terms of flavor, I don't want to be able to say, oh, the wine feature of it is very prominent. I want to be able to say, oh, that's sweet, interesting, and then be like, oh, that aftertaste is kind of interesting as well. So I would give this a 4. Actually, let me taste it again. Hold on.
Let me taste it again. Let me try this. Sure.
$4.5. It's close. It's just like it has that initial clash of what I feel is with it's Irish whiskey, right? No, Scotch. It has that initial clash of like a Scotch whiskey, where like there's that weird little undercurrent of funky that you taste, and that it kind of always throws me. So for that, it's a 4.5. It's really good, but it's not my good, if that makes any sense. Like this isn't
Gotcha.
my flavor palette. So 4.5, I'd pay $40 for it. That's 3. That's
Okay.
3.
Anthony, walk us through it. What do you think?
Or we're gonna go backwards. Starting with number 12.
Oh God. I was like,
Sonoma, the one we were just talking about.
hey. No, wait. Number 12, number 13, you mean? By backwards.
Son of a bitch. I just wrote all over the wrong page.
Anthony.
Oh, no.
Anthony.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
Oh.
You'll just have to do it backwards. It's okay.
All right. I'm just correcting some things. Let me put a
Please
Octothorpe
hold
13 right here.
Anthony solves his. Well, no, that's not really dyslexia, is it? Whenever you try to do things in reverse order, but you. Is that a thing for
I don't know, but I
dyslexia?
did discover that I am dyslexic. I did not realize.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
I am also.
It's like, yeah, it varies. The degree of dyslexia varies, like how bad it is.
Welcome to the Robot Mountain Man segment of the podcast.
Robot Mountain Man. Robot Mountain Man.
Am I back? It looks like I'm okay now.
You're back. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
you are.
I'll start monitoring my basically my heartbeat of my internets,
The-
so I know when to shut up. Okay, flipping between pages. My initial thought for the Locklear, the single malt Scotch whiskey, is that's pretty good. So, wow, I was writing on the wrong page for a while.
I forgot that Anthony's rating system has changed since the last
yeah,
episode.
yeah. We have
Eh? That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
E.
I don't feel Eric. Don't do
Good.
this, Anthony. Don't hear what he's saying and make changes to your rating. You had 3 things. You had
Those were just the
and
first
that's
few.
good.
I need like 10 reactions for all 10 levels,
I
right?
can't.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't deal with you.
You have to have the.
No.
No, it's all natural.
You either get
It's all
numbers
natural.
or you get 3. I can't do this. Like I can't pay attention, and you keep on throwing random noises at me.
I'm just saying, one
The
day,
funny thing
Nat,
is
when
that
we get
this-
super big, we're gonna have an entire website dedicated to Anthony's reactions.
just
Well,
random
so-
sound bits.
What's really good though is I might have written on both pages on accident, but I said that's pretty good twice
Wow.
for the same one. So it's definitely that's pretty good. What I really like about it is that I get that mash note on the nose and on the tongue, kind of like a white dog. Hard smell to know if you haven't had like a white dog or been at a distillery, but it's really hearty. Kind of smells like bread being baked, but a very specialty bread.
Smells
Oh.
like freedom.
It does actually.
Smells like freedom.
Yeah. But yeah, it's also I caught wait, no, that's a different one. I'm so confused. Anyways, I gave it a 5.5. Yeah. 5.5. I like
That's
it, but
13.
there's
13.
that's number 13, yeah.
Okay.
I like it, but there is a little bit of a taste that I'm not a fan of. But
Is
it's
that the
good.
beginning or at the end?
At the end.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
I think I've learned that Anthony doesn't like bitter, lingering aftertastes in general. He really wants
Nope.
that finish to be like either
Polished.
super clean
Mm-hmm.
or much more on the tasty, sweeter side. Like it's either got to be tasty and savory or sweet. It can't be bitter.
So either neat or sweet, not dirty.
It could also be tasty. I think I've had him try different whiskeys at my place where the finish is either like cinnamon or something like that, or a little bit spicier or umamier, but like it can't be bitter. You have to avoid bitter notes
At
in the
end.
flavor palette
Interesting.
with Anthony. He's not
Got it.
he's not a bitter guy.
He's not a bitter guy.
I've got that DNA thing. Actually, that's like a
I just took a DNA
It is a
test.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's like a correlation there,
It's-
for sure.
there's I think it's like on the 23andMe like list of things where it's like cannot stand bitterness as much as others.
That
I'm
wouldn't
dropping-
surprise me, honestly.
So many frames right now. Due to network lag, of course. Anyways. So to number 12.
Ben? Wait,
Smells
what
great.
what would you pay for that one?
Ah, crap. Nothing. Just kidding.
Not the nothing. You gave it a 4.
I'm
No,
just
5.
kidding. I gave it a
Oh.
5.5.
Would you give it a daily
It's
drink?
probably.
Is it a daily driver?
I don't know. I respect it, but I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe.
Moving
Hard
on.
to say.
No worries. You can
Probably.
come back to it later.
I'd pay like $50 for it.
Okay.
I think. For number 12, the cinema. I'm gonna take it to the cinema. It
Wow.
smells great. I caught the apricot on the nose, so that gives it bonus points. It's quite good. So I give that one a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come.
Yeah.
This was
Okay.
the
Probably-
Sonoma, right?
This is Sonoma.
Yeah, the cinema.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really like.
And what would you pay for it?
Probably like $40, maybe 45.
Come.
And then the last one, the silky. Wait a second. The best part about the silky is that it is silky, because like it's smooth and oily, which is fantastic. Oh, I forgot to give my actual. Wait, oh crap.
Anthony,
Sorry, one
what is
second.
happening, dude? I had to retaste the first two as well.
Yeah. So that Summer 12 is like a.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So and then my rating for 11, the silky is a very good.
Okay.
Very good.
You got. Okay.
And it's got good peat. It's really good peat. Easily a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Okay.
Probably pay like $63 for that one.
You're not gonna take us on your flavor journey with this one?
Oh, well, I can't remember.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean,
Okay.
the smell is really good. A really great peaty smell. I don't think I actually pick up the apple.
Really?
Huh. I feel like Apple hits you in the face at the front.
I didn't get it at the beginning either, Anthony, but I do feel like I sank into it. Like I was like, oh, this is a juicy baby.
I just get a lot of peat. Maybe some smoke, but not enough. It's mostly peat. Like if this actually delivered on the smoky feeling aftertaste, it gets close, but not quite there. I'd be really happy about it, because I haven't had a whiskey like that in forever. Where it just feels like, you know, that smell, like your clothes, you smell them, they smell like smoke because you're around a fire.
Yep.
Some whiskeys can give you that like taste and like after feeling in your mouth, and this doesn't. It almost hits it, but it doesn't. But yeah, I give this one a 6 out of 10. I think I already said that, but we backtracked a little bit because I kind of skipped over everything.
And then you'd pay about $63.
Yeah.
I think the silky is like one of those things where you could put it into a flask and you'd be like, oh man, I'd come back to this like once every 2 weeks and be like, oh, this is tasty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Overall, I think all of these are good and much better than most of the Flaviar things that we've had.
Yeah.
But none of them are like insane. They're all just good. They're all better than average, for sure.
I think that segues perfectly into my point. This definitely raises the bar for flavor.
For sure.
The fact that we have things like these three in the same vein as the, you know, things like these three, the Frey Ranch, and we have that with, you know, the JJ Corey or you know,
or the
things like that, or like the Black
Skyward, whatever.
Right. Like they're of a different quality. These
sure.
three whiskeys are all super solid. They're all super interesting, right?
Super good.
And so the way I'm gonna go through this, I'm gonna go in the reverse orders while to keep it easy, but also because I think it goes in ascending order. So for the Locklear Distilling Company's barley single malt, I would give that a 4. I think there's a lot of interesting things about this. I love the pear up front. I think it's smooth, but I think it has a quickness to it that I'm not a fond of. I want to see it more staying power. I want to see something vibrant up front, followed by a smoothness that tapers into something more flourishing.
Yep.
This really does have like this smooth citrusy pear note up front with a sweetness, and then it kind of dies down and it's just subtle, right? This whiskey, when I was going through and retasting and things like that, kind of got lost in the mix, right? Like it doesn't have the power to jump out when I'm trying all of the whiskeys back and forth and things like that. Kind of dies and goes into the mix, right? It has a peatiness and a smokiness that I like. It has a pear note that I like, but I want more out of it, right? It's one step below that daily drinker for me.
For sure.
Then we get to the Sonoma Distilling Cherrywood Smoked Rye. I like it. It's fun. It's sweet. Raisin brandy. You know, it reminds me of this cereal. I think it's a little too sweet for me. And I think it doesn't quite have the rye note in it that I want. It has a little bit of that mealish flavor to it, but it doesn't punch me in the face with rye. And sometimes I want to like feel like I went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson and this didn't do it. You know,
Eric's in a little bit of a Damascus, just
Yeah.
the barest amount.
And then we get to my favorite of the group, which is definitely the Silky Irish Rye, which is dynamic. It has these multiple different pieces to it. It has dark chocolate, one of my favorite flavor profiles in whiskey. And you have a definite beginning, middle, and end with some staying power. That spicy note stays on your tongue for a little bit longer than the other two whiskeys. It really has this like punch to it that is super nice. And so I give the Locklear a nice 4. I give the Sonoma right around a 4.5. I give the Silky a 6.
Yay!
The Silky could definitely sit right above my daily drinkers for
Silky
sure.
fucks.
I think it's more dynamic as an Irish whiskey than something like a Redbreast 12. And I think it has like some staying power that a lot of other 5s don't have, right? Like a lot of 5 whiskeys for me, they don't have this dynamic journey through this beginning, middle, and end. And this really has that. And it has a lot of the flavors that I like while it's doing it. Not a lot of off notes. This is one where if it just had a little bit more of each phase, it would start to push into my higher bracket range of like the 7s, you know. But
Hey, so Eric, are you a fan of that song "Feel Nothing" by Health?
not entirely.
Where's this going?
He was talking about needing, sometimes to just get punched in the face by like Mike Tyson.
I guess this is going to be that.
I think I've played this song for you guys before.
Oh,
It's like,
God. Oh,
like punch me in the face so I feel something.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. Hopefully
I-
this
I
doesn't
don't
assault
think-
our listeners.
I don't know if we can play this on the stream. Pretty sure it's
I'm not playing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Send it to us.
I'm quite aware that you shouldn't just do that.
I was like, oh no. This episode has been thrown out.
But
No, yeah. Here's a link to the song.
so
Or I guess that doesn't send to everybody, does
you
it?
want to know
That's
the
fine.
craziest thing? I can send it to everybody.
I did it.
Too late.
Oh, I only did it to YouTube actually. No, I think.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I did it.
Y'all,
You know what's crazy though?
Yeah.
For my rating is that it is inversely proportional to the price, which is the Silky sits right at $40.
No shot.
Right? Phenomenal. $40 for an Irish whiskey that gives you a
Buy that
journey.
tomorrow.
Like, what are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
This is
40?
amazing for the price. Go out and buy the Silky, people. Like, phenomenal.
Holy.
The weird thing is, every now and then when I smell the Silky, on that first sniff, I smell like firecrackers or fireworks.
Yeah, the smoked peat comes out on the nose. It's smoky. It's hot. It's spicy. It gets in your pants on a long night. Like shit. It's just a great whiskey. So then we have the Sonoma Distilling Company, the Cherrywood Smoked Rye, sitting right around the $50 price point. Not bad for a 4.5 to 6, depending on who you ask here. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
I was gonna pay 60 for it.
Yeah, $50 price range. Also a bargain. Then we have the Locklear Distilling Company, which I think sits right around $70, which is more than what I think everybody here would pay for it. Making it probably the worst deal out of the three. Also the lowest average out of the three for us.
How does that happen? Guys, let's be real. We're not the only people who have taste, right?
100%.
And I get that, like, this is an art. And in any expression of art, you have people who have differing, palettes, I guess. I don't see, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's just us. I don't see how you can serve something like the Sonoma and be able to say, yeah, that's $70. I mean, like,
not the Sonoma, the Locklear.
The
Locklear is $70.
The Locklear. I don't see it.
Well,
I get the fact that, like, it kind of comes off as like a finer drinking experience because it's, for me, it's almost synonymous with that wine feeling of, like, you sit with that for a while because it's so long lasting on your tongue. That doesn't equate to a price uptick of like $30 or $40 to a competitor who has you by the balls flavor wise.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think to some degree you're right. So we have to remember the Locklear is the only Scotch out of this group. So it sits in a different category than the other two. For sure. Now, as a Scotch, there are some regulatory things that make Scotches a little bit more expensive, but obviously you can find Scotches for a cheaper price. But I tend to agree. I don't see how you could go and serve the Locklear and the Silky together, right? The Silky is a peat smoked Irish whiskey. Guess what? If you like Scotches and you like peat flavors, you're going to be looking at things like the Silky and the Locklear together. And I agree with that. I don't know how you could walk into a bar and see the Locklear for double the price and choose that over the Silky.
Like,
right?
Anthony, where are you coming from on this one? Because, like,
well, but even Anthony put the Silky above the Locklear.
Yeah,
right?
but without looking into it and remembering that Scotch has like standards, I agree with you, Nat. Like, why would you do that? But then when reading like that, it's more expensive to produce because the ingredients more expensive because you're using barley instead of corn, has a slower aging process, there's more taxes and tariffs.
Well, you have to remember
like
that the Silky is an Irish whiskey, right?
Meaning?
So likely we're talking about them both using, it's probably a single malt. It's a blend of Irish whiskeys. So that's going to be malted and unmalted barley.
So the Irish whiskey also comes malted.
Well,
like a blend of malted and unmalted.
So Irish whiskey gets its flavor from unmalted and malted barley being mixed together.
Okay.
A single malt like the Locklear is going to be malted barley all the way through, which is the unmalted barley is really where you start to get those shortbread Irish whiskey flavors. The malted barley is where you're going to get your single malt flavors.
Guys, I don't know if you've already finished your Sonoma. It smells divine.
I will say the Raisin Bran sweetness of the Sonoma does smell really good. It smells like a woody, oaky cognac. It's just A phenomenal smell.
That's so good, guys. That's so good. So, knowing that Sonoma is also cheaper than this competitor, I get like totally get that there's like some price regulations that come with scotches. So let me not go completely overboard in terms of being dramatic about it. I just don't see how you can walk into a bar and know how both of these taste and go with the Locklear. Nothing against Locklear because honestly, out of all the scotches I've had, it's a pretty great scotch.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not
It
bad at all.
really just is in the wrong price range
I
for
think
where,
so.
like, if this was in the $45 price range, we would definitely see it being competitive with
Even
these other two whiskeys. Because
Even 50 or 60, man.
yeah, because we could see how different tastes would prefer one of these three whiskeys over the other, right? Like if you like Irish whiskeys more and that unmalted shortbread flavors, you're gonna like this peated one a little bit more. You're gonna like the silky a little bit more. If you like something that's a little sweeter, something more on the bourbon side, something that's a little bit lighter, you're gonna like the Sonoma a little bit better. And then if you like something that's a little meatier, umami flavored, salty, you're gonna look at this third one and kind of like that a little bit better. But the third one doesn't have enough evolution to make it double the price of the first one.
No. You can probably get umami somewhere else. Like
I think even the first one has some umami notes in
Yeah.
it from the peat and stuff like
the
that. That is
smokiness.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. I think this first one, for all of you Scotch lovers out there, like the
go-to,
legendary
man.
dark silky Irish whiskey is a
It is.
great foray into the Irish whiskey market as a Scotch lover.
It's
Who likes
actually
peat?
legendary. It's actually legendary.
Yeah.
They were full on like slapdash, all good. Like they got it. They made it make
Yeah.
sense. Ugh, whatever.
But I do love this trio. I think this trio has been one of the most
Pleasant.
divine
Mhm.
trios that we've had from Flaviar so far. It's really nice that we had three whiskeys both punching in their weight range, right? Like we have to remember that we are kind of cutting hairs here. Like I could see somebody liking the Locklear enough to pay a little bit more for it. And so there's a lot to be said about all three of these whiskeys. All three of these averaged a rating that was right around our daily drinkers. So all three of these could sit around a daily drinker. Now, I think for me, the Silky would be the daily drinker out of this group for me. The Sonoma, while I gave it a rating of 5, I do think that I could make this a daily drinker, but I do have daily drinkers that I prefer over it. It would be one of those where I could keep coming back to this bottle, but I don't know that it would really be my daily drinker.
There's not a daily, Eric. Don't say it's a daily drinker if you don't say you're gonna drink it daily.
But it's only not a daily drinker because I have others that sit there
Then
better.
it's not
But
a daily. Then it's not a daily drinker. Be honest with our fans.
be
Eric.
honest with the people.
Be honest with the people.
But yeah,
it's not a daily drinker.
Okay, that's fair.
Say it. Say it.
It's
okay.
not a daily drinker. The Sonoma would not be my daily drinker.
It is fantastic. It is a
Yeah.
gift. It is a fantastic gift. Like if I gave this to friends who I was like, "Oh, are you into whiskey?" Hands down, if you hand this to them and they taste it, they're gonna be like, "Where did you get this? Like,
Yeah.
how much did this cost? Like, what are you talking about?"
The 40,
I told you to spend no more than $50 at my party. Why are you bringing me a $200 bottle?
$50, my dude.
Easy.
Yeah.
So good.
Great choice. The Locklear wouldn't be a daily drinker, but the Silky, daily drinker material.
Easy.
And for $40, that's a steal. I think if anything else, go try the Silky for $40. There's not a lot in that price range that hits that hard. It's really quite dynamic for a $40 whiskey, for sure.
You know what I'm gonna do? As soon as I get rid of these chairs, anybody who wants to buy some chairs in the Houston area, you let me know. But as soon as I get rid of these chairs, I have that shelf right over here, right? And it has some shelves like all the way up there. I'm gonna put all of my daily drinkers up there to be like, no, it's a daily drinker because I put it on the shelf, and no matter what, I have access to it 24/7 whenever I'm in this room, and I'm in this room all the time.
I was about to say, what I want to do is I want to move this camera view onto this side over here. So it's
Oh,
looking
man.
this way. I want to
Mhm.
take this wall, put up some shelves, things like that, put
Mhm.
a bunch of whiskey on them, and a neon sign that says Taphaven.
Taphaven. Or you could just say daily drinker.
Taphaven sounds cooler
Okay,
though.
you right. You right.
Nat, can that shelf system handle that much weight? It looks like it's only got
I was
one
about to say
side.
there's no weight on it, and it looks like it's sagging already.
It's fine, guys. It's fine. Trust me. It's fine.
He's gonna put
Gonna
like
dump
It
our
might
three
not be
bottles
fine.
on it,
It-
and then
It
it's
might
gonna
not be
go.
fine.
Like, do you see that top shelf? It's like 45 degrees already.
It's only
Okay,
got two
so-
struts.
Okay, so bear with me. I don't think it'll sit on that. So I'll figure something out though. Don't worry.
Fair. Fair.
Man.
Okay. Well, yeah, 3 nice, awesome whiskeys.
Fantastic.
What have y'all been playing this week? What have y'all been doing game wise?
Can I start because my story is very short?
Go for it.
Fantastic. Okay. So I've probably talked about this game at some point in time just because I was like, oh, I've been interested in playing it. Looks good. I've heard great things. Co went onto his stream and basically like sang praise about it. Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah.
And the Secret, is it the Lost Crown or the Secret Crown? Hold on. Lost Crown.
Yep.
Guys, you want to talk about a game that's like a true successor to the Metroidvania lineage? Yeah.
I mean,
The
it
combos are
looks
there.
phenomenal.
It looks gorgeous. So the reason why I'm saying it looks not like it looks this way and it plays phenomenally. It looks like it plays phenomenally. I wasn't able to play it over this weekend. I bought it Friday at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh no.
And this game requires you to have Ubisoft Connect. So I tried to log into my Ubisoft account. It's been two-factor authenticated locked. So I sent in a support ticket to get it reset. They send me a link to go ahead and start the process of verifying that I am the owner of this account. The link immediately breaks. I click on it and immediately says this link is it has expired and it is no longer valid.
Oh my god.
I try to get on the phone with somebody. They're all gone. They're gone for the weekend, guys.
How did Ubisoft screw? So just for reference, people, by the way, because I'm looking at this game right now, this game's beta was so much fun. So I was really excited for it to come out. I haven't played it yet, but it is on my list. It has a mixed rating, and I'm just perusing through some of these, and every
Ubisoft Connect.
single one is Ubisoft online save account related.
Yep.
So far, that is a negative review, which is just unbelievable.
It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing because, guys, I've watched this game get played just from jump. A friend of ours, you might remember him, Jason. He started playing it around the same time I bought it, and he was like, "Dude, you want to just like jump in the stream and watch me play like the first like few hours? Like I won't spoil. I'll try not to spoil anything." But I was like, dude, you're telling me to go ahead and watch the first few hours. Of course, you're going to spoil something. I watched it anyway. And it looked great. Like, you basically jump into the game after the initial, tutorial. And it's literally like, hey, jump into the dungeon, and it's completely open world. You can go to any of the branches and just go. And, they're fully accessible, but you cannot make progress without getting the full suite of your powers, pretty much. And the story is very interesting. I won't spoil it here because I feel like every single iteration of Prince of Persia has some new way or iteration to mess with time.
Yeah.
And this one is cool.
Okay.
Like it's one that like it makes sense because in the world that we live in and the media that's being created, of course they would go this route because they haven't done it yet. But very cool. And I saw that in the first 3 hours. Like the game is fantastic. If you have time, please go out and play the game. The creators did an incredible job. I already know they did an incredible job. The only
Yeah.
bad part is the fact
Ubisoft.
that it's connected with Ubisoft, and Ubisoft has shot this thing in the foot.
Yeah, that's just
So unfortunate.
ridiculous.
So unfortunate. Stop. Yeah, dude, for sure. Stop killing games. Stop. Oh,
No. That's something else. Ignore that for now.
okay.
You can't shift enter in the chat.
Good to know. One last thing before I go ahead and give up my spot, because that's literally all I have. I haven't really been able to do anything else. The new Space Marine game is coming out, and I've heard great things. Like story-wise and just like gameplay-wise, I've heard good things. Like it's like AAA story-based game that wants to go ahead and show you big explosions and have you do big crazy shit. They have a multiplayer game mode that looks like it won't survive long, but like there's going to be some people who are really into it. But the game looks good, like Gears of War level kind of good, like first Gears of War level kind of good. Very impressed.
I can get behind that.
Looking forward to it. I don't know if it's already out, but if it is, I will probably be buying that for the weekend.
Nice.
But that's me. Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Anthony, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I thought I only played one game, but I guess technically I've played two.
Okay.
So thanks to Eric last week, I checked out RuneScape 3, Iron Man, which was like I got like
don't make me sign off on this goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I got like a day and a half into that, or like not like a day and a half, but like a day and a half after starting it, I was just like, this is weird and very cluttered and a lot going on and just kind of strange. And then I texted Eric. I was like, did you do RuneScape 3 or old school RuneScape? He's like, old school. I was like, okay, yeah, because the RuneScape 3 kind of sucks.
It's weird. It's such a weird, and here's the thing, because now, of course, that I talked about RuneScape and stuff like that, I've been getting all the videos, so I've been like researching and like watching having videos on my second monitor, and it is such an interesting development of how they got to RuneScape 3 and that whole process and their design philosophy and their choices and things like that. But I think every MMO kind of goes down this route of trying to make things fresh and different. And they keep iterating on freshness and different stuff instead of focusing on what they do really well. And at some point, it morphs into so many different systems and so many different things stacking on top of each other that it makes it really hard to like see how you got there, to see where the problems are. And it causes this cluttered kind of mess in the same sense as something like Retail WoW or RuneScape 3 or, you know, any game that's been around for as long as those behemoths had. The EverQuest, right? Like is still releasing expansions. And you go log into EverQuest and you see 100 different systems all in trying to intermingle, but all doing bad at it because like, how are you going to keep track of an old code base that is millions of lines of code that all have to interact nicely and have a nice user experience? Like they're making it hard for themselves.
Yeah, like the crazy thing they did for RuneScape 3 is that you start off in the brand new person town called Lumbridge. And in original RuneScape, old school RuneScape, it's a quaint little town outside of a castle with very minimal stuff, and it feels very natural and it just has everything you need as a newcomer. And then in RuneScape 3, they stuff a bunch of other stuff into it, like a market and other weird things, and it's just like
Bloated.
it's out of place. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's like someone remixed the original game, and it's just weird. But yeah, so I switched to old school RuneScape, which has been nice. It's definitely like true to the original, and it's very great for just a what is it? Brain cycle filler. So like I have a really hard time brushing my teeth for the full 2 minutes, and my toothbrush will like vibrate every 30 seconds and then turn off. Well, the other day I was like, I had RuneScape in one hand and brushing my teeth in the other, and I brushed my teeth the whole way through, thanks to the game distracting me from getting distracted. So
Yeah,
that's been kind of neat.
I don't think there's any other game on the market that is like RuneScape. And I tried to think about this like pretty thoroughly in the sense that it is a genre almost in and of itself because it doesn't play or feel like an MMORPG. And it doesn't play and feel like a simple clicker. And the way that I kind of thought about it in my head is that I think it's one of the first games that has such a breadth of options based on how much you want to pay attention to the game. And that is the thing over there, because I'll just be quaint. That is the game that I've been playing all week. It's kind of stolen my week from me. And so to kind of jump on this topic, as like the game that I've been playing has been old school RuneScape. And I can talk a little bit about a few of the different things that I have found interesting
Matt,
about
you
it.
never even played the game.
Yeah, that Nat might be like, but one of the things that this game does that I don't think is actually done in any other game, like full stop, I don't think there's another game on the market that does this well. It has an option in the game that the developers tweak and monitor that is your attention. It is the amount of effort you want to spend on the game. Do you want it to feel like freaking Osu where you're clicking 1,000 times a minute? Guess what? There are things you can do in RuneScape that feel like that. Do you want to be able to click once every 15 minutes and watch a movie on the side? Awesome. RuneScape has something for that. Do you want something in between? You got it. RuneScape's got it. And that's
been really great for my wife and I watching, because Ash started playing it too. And I'm rewatching. She's watching for the first time Smallville, the Superman CW series.
Yeah.
And they go back and forth between having like really good episodes and insanely cringy, awful episodes. And so we're like sitting there hoping for a cringy episode so that we can pull out RuneScape and chop some wood and be distracted from the secondhand embarrassment that the show is getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. And I can't believe the mobile experience.
The mobile experience is surprisingly awesome.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing. A lot of people watch RuneScape, they look up RuneScape, they see RuneScape, and what they see is something that's like click, and then you watch two characters swing their sword every 10 seconds. And you're like, this is boring as shit. But what you don't see, what trailers or watching somebody play always doesn't show you, is this attention dial that they can essentially tweak based on what you want to do, right? And it allows you to have a side activity or a main activity or an AFK activity at any point.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you just reminded me. So when we were originally playing, I think we were like 13 years old, maybe younger than that even. And eventually around 13, I gave up on the game because I learned about input output in school, and I was like, this game is input output, like I'm not doing anything. And that's because I was like fishing, trying to get to 99, and you're barely doing anything. Like it's one of those where you can really be doing something else while you're doing this. But as a teenager, without YouTube being a big thing and other stuff, you're just like 100% focused on that, and it just became boring. So you move on to other things. But the funniest thing was my dad was playing, and everyone in school knew him because he was like insane at the game. He even knew Zezima, like if anyone knows old school Zezima, who was like the top player. I didn't understand at the time, but my dad would play while working. And also while working, he'd be watching TV and stuff like that. And so like he was in the place where, he had the extra minor amount of attention to be able to give to something while waiting or being on the phone with someone or whatever it is. Because the game is like a fidget spinner at times, which is really awesome. Because it actually, for a lot of people, helps you pay attention to what you're working on or doing. Because if you didn't have something to fidget with, you would start to like daydream or think about something else entirely.
Yeah, it is something so cool. The other thing I'll say on the RuneScape thing, because now I don't know, Anthony, where you're at, but I'm like near max on like one
Jesus
skill.
Oh, one
I have got a bunch of quests under my belt. I think my level now, I'm sitting at around 600 total level or something like that. Which isn't too high for people that are.
I'm at 324.
Yeah. For people that like actually play RuneScape, they're like 600 so low, man. Like, look, I know, I'll get there. But the other thing that I will say about RuneScape, you have all of these different attention level activities, right? So you can spend as little or as much time, like effort into this game as you want to, which is really cool. It allows for so many dynamic play styles of like doing other things, doing this, doing that. But on the other hand, one thing that RuneScape does so differently from other games that I absolutely love is the quests. I would argue that regardless of what you think about RuneScape, the quests in the game are so well designed in how you have to go about solving them and how you have to go about like executing them that is super cool, engaging, and interesting. And a lot of people are like, oh, I downloaded RuneLite and I have the quest helper and I use the quest helper. And I think the quest helper is great. Use the quest helper if you don't care about any of that. But if you want an experience that is really cool, do some of the quests outright. Like try to solve them because they are solvable, one. And two, there's so much love and effort put into like the dialogue, the mechanics behind them, how you have to solve them, how you have to figure them out. That kind of care is not put into quests. And one of my main goals of doing RuneScape and like starting RuneScape now is that they released a new quest line. It's like while Guthric sleeps or something like that.
Guthric!
And it is like a Grandmaster quest. It's like 100 different parts. It'll take you like, it is essentially a main quest of some other types of games where you have to have a certain level for some of the things in RuneScape. But this quest line is like a main story from like Skyrim or something like that. Like it's that level of care put into like just a random quest chain that is fairly new in RuneScape. So like Anthony, this quest didn't exist when we last played it. This was introduced in like 2022 or something like that. I don't know exactly when, but
well, yeah, and like to emphasize right in the very beginning, like one of the starter zone quests ends with you having to solve a cipher.
Yeah.
right?
Like that's
And
so crazy.
I think that, unfortunately, World of Warcraft has probably stained the idea of questing to a lot of
Yeah.
people. So when you talk about it, they are probably glossing over and not even hearing what you're saying, because in RuneScape, I haven't ever encountered a single go kill 10 of these quest,
Yeah.
and everything is unique. Everything has a little story, and there's no, unless you're playing RuneScape 3, old school RuneScape doesn't have any hand holding. It doesn't tell you where to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll tell you things like, oh, it's to the southeast or whatever, like it's over here, and that's just a really cool thing. And they also have elements of what is it, like old text games and
Yeah.
stuff like
Space
that, where
Adventures.
yeah, like if I click on something and I click on another thing on accident, I didn't even mean to do it, it will say nothing interesting happens. And it's like, oh, so like something might have happened if I had the right thing. And so, like Eric said, every little quest is actually a great opportunity to do something cool. And it's not tedious like WoW, where you definitely want a guide because who cares about this quest. It's like, actually, this quest is going to feel better if you solve it like a
Know
puzzle
what's going
yourself.
on. Yeah.
And
you
every
turn
quest
into-
is an adventure in RuneScape. Like it really does. Like there are a few starter quests that are like teaching you mechanics, but once you get past that, every single quest feels important to the world. Like one of the quests, for example, you go through and they're like, "Hey, this town over here, plague. Like everybody in it is infected and dying. Like nobody goes in there. And then you go in there and like we don't get a lot of visitors from the outside.
Yeah.
And you go through this storyline and you figure out this like pseudo political system that this town's going through, and you have to like rescue a girl and like all this type of stuff. And it's like engaging, interesting, and just fun to go through some of these quests. And it's so refreshing because quests like that just don't exist in games right now. And you're getting it in a game that is like, you can look at me every 30 minutes and play me, or you can look at me constantly and play me. You can engage with me however you want. And that is so refreshing in today's market. That is like surprising. Yeah.
So I think I just remembered that. So back in the day, RuneScape had a like $5 membership maybe. And the thing that people constantly looked forward to was the like maybe monthly or or every other week. I don't know what their cadence was, but it was a new quest. Like specifically, you would get a new quest, and every now and then there'd be a whole new zone too, and mini quests, like multiple quests coming with it. But everyone was constantly looking forward to the next quest, hoping that they had the right levels for it and the items, and that they could do it quickly if they figured it out and stuff like that. So
And
it's funny, it's called RuneScape, but it's more like Questscape.
yeah. And Anthony, just to wrap all this up and like really drive it home for you particularly, for anybody who doesn't know, old school RuneScape, the original RuneScape, turned into RuneScape 3. All the characters from there turned into RuneScape 3. Like the old character that me and Anthony had as kids, that doesn't exist anymore. Like they were converted to RuneScape 3 characters, and if you didn't convert it in time, like they got wiped, all that kind of stuff. Old school RuneScape had a voting thing. They voted, the community said we want the old school stuff, and the company listened. And now they vote on every new thing that comes out in the game. Guess what? You have to have a super majority and they release it. But guess what? There's an entire team dedicated to only old school RuneScape and making it better and releasing new content for it that didn't exist back in the day. They have continued to just make stuff for that game. Old school RuneScape uses the old systems but keeps releasing stuff. They have voted, they have started, and they just recently released the video for their new skill in old school RuneScape,
Oh wow.
which is sailing. So
What?
they're going to have sailing in old school RuneScape. It is still in the early development.
That's
Last
wild.
videos I saw said that it probably won't even be out this year, right? And we're probably looking at sometime next year. But they're going to have an entire new skill called scaling, and a lot of people are like, whatever. But as a new person who's just getting into old school RuneScape, it seems really exciting. And for somebody like Anthony, they're going to have ship combat. They're going to have PKing on boats. They're going to have quests where you can go through and deliver stuff from port to port. They're going to have different boss encounters and things apparently for like being out in the ocean, right? On this ship. So like
That'll be
just
cool.
just the fact that the team is working on stuff like that is super engaging
I
and
bet you
really
start with a
awesome.
raft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start with a little dinghy.
And that's what it looks like. You have like a small boat, and then it just gets bigger, and then it turns into a galleon once you get high enough.
Yeah. For now, I'm not so sure about the PKing though, because I actually started a hardcore Iron Man, and he's still hardcore.
Yeah.
Since I saw that, like, as long as you haven't, like, I saw that you just get downgraded, I was like, well, why not?
Yeah, I thought I don't know why I didn't do that. I should have done it. But
Yeah.
and funnily enough, I haven't died yet on my Iron Man either. Although I'm still on like the Wintertod and the Temperance grinds and stuff like that, and doing those mini bosses. So like, there's not a lot of risk.
I'm fairly certain I'm just gonna die to Wintertod when I like have an internet blip and I disconnect and just stand there and die.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna at least die to just nonsense at some point.
Yeah.
And I've accepted that.
Yeah, Wintertod is the one that's risky. You could start with Temperance and get a lot of your stuff there, though, too.
I'm already at Wintertod. I'm just going for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Wait, do you have all your stuff for Wintertod? Do you have like the worm clothes and everything?
No, I only have gloves and boots.
Ooh,
I only get hit by 1 or 2.
Okay, that's good.
I get hit by 1 for cold and then 2 for like getting actually hit.
Did you farm some cakes?
Yes, I've been following this guide, so I don't have to think much.
Nice.
For like Iron Man efficiency guide.
Oh yeah, the Iron Man efficiency guide is so crazy. Yeah, it'll make you like do things. I haven't been following it, but I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I've just been kind of like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and now I'm at Wintertod until I get my I'm trying to get that tome. Is what I'm trying to get.
Oh, the fire person tome, the fire
tome.
spell tome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. I've gotten everything else though. I have all the equipment except for the dragon axe, and I'm just trying to get the tome.
I've heard you can keep some of the crates and not open them, and they will scale with your levels as you get stronger, and then eventually open them and get a better reward.
They will, but they don't increase your chance of getting the tome. So a lot of people say open them until you get your tome and then save all of them. Is what I've heard, but I don't know which ones.
All it makes sense. I mean, you want the tome. You want
the tome. The tome is essentially what I'm trying to get, so I don't have to have fire runes for all the non-physical stuff. So it's cool stuff.
So the only other thing I wanted to bring up was what I accidentally messaged you guys. Is called Stop Killing Games. So I might not have heard of this, but in the European Union, they have this Stop Killing Games thing that they're trying to get a bunch of people to sign. And unfortunately, it's a bad idea because the language for it is just completely wrong. So ideally, what they are after is that it is definitely not okay for a game developer to release a single player game and require online services for you to play it. If they advertise it as a single player game, it should be a single player game. You shouldn't have to log in, have an internet connection, and if someday the company goes under, you no longer can play that game. Okay. The language for this Stop Killing Games, which if goes into the system, will basically be a guide for what lawmakers use to write things, is that with this, you would basically like kill things like League of Legends because it's including all games, really. So it's saying that if you make an online multiplayer game, you have to like release your source code, and essentially, especially for like a small developer, if you do make a multiplayer game, all someone would have to do is like, there's certain easy attacks where they can kill your game, and then they can revive your game and make money off of it themselves while you've been just completely killed as a company and gone under. Yeah, so they'll because the law would then tell everyone that because you're going under, you now have to like release your source code so that other people can keep playing the game and host it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so the three of us could never make an online game without being definitely under threat of someone just attacking us with DDoS and then eventually killing it
Taking
or something like that.
Yeah.
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 So it's like, it's not the right language for what isn't okay, which is the whole, I'm selling you a single player game, but you have to log in and whatnot. So it's really weird. And then on top of that, another thing that's come up from people talking about it is that the language really needs to change around buying games and even buying like movies and shows online, because most of the time we aren't buying a game, we are renting a license and getting the right to log in and play this game or log in and watch this show. Like, you can buy a movie on Amazon and they have the complete right to take it down. You know, and so instead of purchase, like it would be nice if we had laws that say, no, you can't say purchase, you can't say buy. They're not actually owning that thing and owning it forever. That's what confuses people.
Yeah.
You're renting it. It's just a license to use it while it exists, and it might not
Yeah.
exist someday.
Yeah, that's so complicated. I think that's so complicated too. It's like one of I totally agree. We need to like open up verbiage for that to be communicated more eloquently. But
Yeah, because
so
it's hidden
hard.
in the user license agreements that
Yeah.
no one reads because no one can understand it, and also
It's all
just a
legalese,
ton of
right?
text.
Like it's all hidden behind legal barricades. And the same thing with this too, right? Like the person who's probably behind a lot of like this initiative is probably doing it in arguably good faith too. They're like, we want to be able to make it so that when people buy these things or access these things, they have access to it forever. Like they have the ability to have this, right? And like in part, that's awesome. But at the same time, like you said, there's probably a lot of verbiage and legal loopholes and legal, like, just things that they have to jump through to make this actually do what their intent is versus what it's probably actually doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, you know, it's difficult right now because the people that are going into law, the people that are covering this type of thing, the people that are specializing it aren't always the people that are understanding or grasping what actually needs to result from that.
Yeah.
And then the people that are actually affected by it are a different group than even that, you know? And so,
And
and then it's difficult. It's weird.
on a similar vein, I just learned that apparently there's a such thing as DVD and Blu-ray rot. So if you have old Blu-rays and DVDs, even if they're not old to you, they might be old from when they were created. You might want to figure out how to rip the data off of those and store it, because those physical things deteriorate after like 5 to 10 years and become unusable.
I did not know that.
Me neither.
I've heard because I talked with Kirk about this because he had a huge Blu-ray collection that he ripped onto drives. He was saying that and Kirk's very knowledgeable about these things for the audience. He was saying that it kind of depends, but there was a time right around like 2007, 2008, where
That was
Blu-ray
coming up.
discs made after that are significantly less prone to rot outside of their like atomic decay rate. And then ones made before that are susceptible to
complete
it
poop.
extremely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's always good practice to like have backups in general. I think as a like as all of us being computer savvy people, like you should be backing up anything that's important. If that's Blu-rays, if that's games, if that's whatever that may
If you
be,
download it,
right?
you back it up.
Yeah.
Period.
If it's important to you,
You back it
you
up.
should have
Oh.
backups to it.
And the Nat, you reminded me of the Stop Killing Games thing because Ubisoft is the target for like the first initiative because
Oh, wow.
they killed The Crew, which was like a massive multiplayer car game.
Mhm.
But guess what? The Crew 2 exists and The Crew 3 exists. And it's been 10 years since The Crew came out. And their licenses are like up for all the cars that they put in it. So they'd have to pay a ton of money to get those cars back. And everyone's playing The Crew 2 and The Crew 3 now because those games actually succeeded for those players. They're better games.
Fuck Ubisoft, man.
Yeah.
Ugh. Garbage.
Well-
Cannot believe it. Ugh. So mad about it.
Well, I guess on that somber
Somber
Note.
note.
we're going to be playing more games, and we'll have a hopefully next week. Nat, we'll have a fun whiskey to try if it ever gets shipped to
Dude,
you.
you got to check in on that. Are they even giving it to you?
I'm
Free
sorry.
range.
I don't see how this is my fault.
I'm not saying it is your fault. It's just I hope we can get it for next week. I'd love to try the Frey Ranch with y'all. So hopefully, audience, next week we'll have a really fun whiskey to try with y'all. But outside of that,
It says it's on the way.
perfect.
It says
Perfect.
it was delivered.
Well, that's not perfect because then you would have had it.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
It's 564 Windsor Forest Drive.
Hold the door.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something
Got
ain't
delivered
right.
next door.
Shipment successfully delivered.
Oh,
no.
no.
August 12th.
Uh,
Today.
today.
That was
It's
today.
probably
Is it outside?
sitting
It
in
better be
your.
outside.
Probably sitting. Wait. Well,
We might have a special, super special surprise for you guys.
I mean, next week. I can't do another whiskey.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. No. So, yeah, but speaking of disc rot, let's see. Nope, this one's fine. This one's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah. Apparently, there was, from what I've heard about it, I haven't done any research into it. I'm just going off what Kirk told me. But
Yeah, it's not really a thing anymore.
yeah,
But
newer
you might,
Blu-ray
if you have
discs.
old enough DVDs or Blu-rays,
Yes.
you might have some that could rot, and so you might want to rip those before
Yeah.
they die.
And it's apparently right around 2006, 2007. Like if you did Blu-ray,
He's received it.
he got it.
Yay.
Well-
Finally.
Audience, next week we will have a super fun whiskey to try with y'all from one of our favorite distributors, Frey Ranch. And so I guess with that said, we'll see you in the next one. Frey Ranch, here we come.
Later, nerds.
Bye.
Peace.